Yeah, so it's been a few days now, hasn't it? Since that press conference, with Joshua and Deontay Wilder, to promote their fights in Saudi. It's been a few days, hasn't it? Since Joshua had to go at that little Dev Cheese Sarnie.
You're no stranger to these sorts of nights. Tell us your feelings heading into this one.
Why isn't Eddie asking me questions? You're my promoter.
Eddie, would you like to ask Anthony a question?
Yeah, that was a bit arrogant, wasn't it, from Joshua? Acting like that with that little Dev Cheese Sarnie. You know what I mean? Acting all stuck up and arrogant. Like saying to that little Dev Cheese Sarnie, you shouldn't be asking me questions. You're not my promoter. Who are you to be asking me questions? It should be Eddie Hearn who's asking me those questions, not you. He was being a bit stuck up, wasn't he, Joshua, and a bit arrogant and a bit disrespectful, to that little Dev Cheese Sarnie. You know what I mean? But like, Joshua, yeah, he's fighting Otto Wallin, innit? And this Otto Wallin guy, he kind of said it himself. He was like saying, Joshua of like 2018, that was like peak Joshua, wasn't it? But that was like 5 years ago, Joshua's gone downhill since. So, the Joshua of 2018, he could probably get away with talking like that, and being arrogant. The Joshua of 5 years ago, when he was kind of like seen as being sort of like the number 1 or number 2 heavyweight. He was definitely in that conversation, wasn't he, Joshua, 5 years ago when he was unbeaten. But now, Joshua, you're not in that position, to be fucking acting all arrogant and stuck up like that. Joshua's not the same guy that he was a few years ago, to be sort of like dictating as to who can speak to him and who can't. Acting all aggressive with him and that and trying to bully him. It's silly, innit? Like, he can't get away with that kind of talk anymore, man. Joshua's gone downhill. So Joshua, I don't know, talking to that little Dev Cheese Sarnie like that, it was a bit fucked up, man. And he shouldn't be talking like that these days. Saying, oh, you shouldn't be talking to me. You should be Eddie Hearn. Who are you to talk to me? You're not in that position to be arrogant anymore, Joshua. Yeah, maybe 5 years ago, but not anymore. He's not even probably in the top 5, is he? There's Tyson Fury or Usyk as number 1. Whichever one 1 or 2, Tyson and Usyk. Number 3, Deontay Wilder. Number 4, even that Zhang. You know what I mean? So it's debatable whether Joshua would even get into the top 5, in today's heavyweight division. So, for him to be acting all stuck up like that and talking to that little Dev Cheese Sarnie like that, with that kind of arrogance, it's no good, is it? It's no good, man. Acting like that as well. What happened to this stay humble shit as well? You know what I mean? Yeah, stay humble. Don't ask me any questions. Stay humble. He's a bit all over the place, isn't he, Joshua? You know what I mean? He's acting a bit stuck up, but it's not 5 years ago, man. You're not that same fucking guy anymore who can have that kind of arrogance. So, acting like that, it's no good, is it? And that little Tony Bellew, afterwards he was like saying, yeah, that's the Joshua that I want to see. That's the Joshua I like. The Joshua of old, that's aggressive. Yeah, that doesn't take any shit. The Joshua that's just straight up and aggressive and, he hasn't got the patience for any bullshit. That's the Joshua I like, that aggressive Joshua. But, we've seen Joshua acting aggressive before. When he like slammed the belts down after he got fucked up by Usyk. You know what I mean? We've seen him acting aggressive before and then he performed how he did. You know what I mean? He fucking was trying to, he was like pretending, to try and attack somebody, when he knew full well he was being held back. Yeah, that's how Joshua was acting, wasn't he? And like, remember when he was like bullying those little students as well, those little skinny teenage students. Joshua was acting aggressive with them, and then we've seen his performances against people like Usyk and Andy Ruiz and, fucking going 12 rounds with Jermaine Franklin, scared to get hit and that. So it doesn't matter what Joshua does or says outside the ring. He's not doing it in the ring, is he, where it counts? I remember when he tried to bully that little black man as well, that little old black man, when Joshua got out the ring.
Hey, good work. Keep it professional. What? Who are you talking to? Who are you talking to?
The little black man said to Joshua, keep it professional. And Joshua was like, who are you talking to? Who are you talking to? You know what I mean? Again, because he knew he was being held back. He knew there was people there that would have intervened, if the little old black man tried to have a go at Joshua. You know, Joshua knows that there would have been people there to break it up. So again, he was acting all loud and aggressive, you know, because he knew full well he was going to get held back. So this little Tony Bellew guy, you know, saying, yeah, this is the Joshua that I like, the aggressive Joshua. It don't matter, does it? You know, fucking, it's all right him acting like that, but when he gets in the ring, it's a different story, isn't it? So this little bit of arrogance from Joshua, you know what I mean? Don't speak to me, you know, it's a bit silly, isn't it, from Joshua? He can't really fucking be talking like that nowadays. You know, after his past few performances over the years. You know, he's not that guy anymore, is he, Joshua? It's almost like this fight that he's having in Saudi, you know, in December. You know, with Deontay Wilder on the show as well. It's almost like Joshua's the undercard and Deontay Wilder's the main event. You know, and Joshua came out first, didn't he? You know, at the press conference. You know, like the challenger, and Deontay Wilder came out last. You know, like the main event, and that's pretty much what it is, isn't it? Because really, Deontay Wilder's fight with Joseph Parker's better than Joshua's fight with Otto Wallin. You know, at least Joseph Parker was a world champion. Otto Wallin, he ain't really fucking, you know, he's living off bloodying up Tyson Fury, innit? You know, that's his claim to fame, innit? Bloodying up Tyson Fury. But other than that, he's done nothing, you know what I mean? But Joseph Parker was a world champ. So Deontay Wilder's the main event against Joseph Parker. You know, and Joshua's kind of on the undercard, isn't he? And him coming out first at the press conference before Wilder, you know, it upset him. So when that little Dev Chisani started asking Joshua questions, Joshua started acting daft again, didn't he? You know, acting like a little kid, like when he slammed the belts down. It's pathetic, isn't it? He had to go at that little Dev guy again, you know, and that Dev guy said, yeah, Joshua will probably face Gerald Miller in the future.
One of the co-main events on December 23rd pits the former two-time unified world heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua, not against Gerald Miller. He is taking on
Gerald Miller.
Otto Wallin.
Man, kiss my black ass.
But I do think he will fight Miller one day.
You ain't my promoter to judge what I'm going to do in my career.
You know, and I kind of agree with that as well. You know, that little Dev Chisani guy, like, you know, saying that, like, I don't know, you know, speaking about Gerald Miller, like, he'll probably get his opportunity in the future, but this fucking Gerald Miller, this big fat black junkie guy, he shouldn't even be on this show. You know what I mean? The guy's drugged up to the eyeballs. How many drugs tests did he fail? He's a fucking junkie, man. He's drugged up to the eyeballs. He shouldn't even be on this show and get another opportunity, you know, to get a big payday. But, you know, because he's like sucking up to that little excellent guy, you know, that little so-called excellent guy. What's he called? Mr. Excellence, you know what I mean? They're all fucking bowing down to him, aren't they? Calling him Mr. Excellence. It's pathetic, isn't it? You know, when you see these grown men like Joshua saying, yeah, thank you, Mr. Excellency. Thank you for letting me on your show, Mr. Excellency. You know, when you see grown men bowing down to another fucking man, calling him Mr. Excellency, and he's not even excellent. Did you see his little speech?
Good evening, everybody. I'm glad to be here today. This is an amazing day for the boxing fans. This is great card. This is the beginning, not the beginning, the next, the number 2 step after the 28th of October, when the opening of Riyadh season ceremony, Battle of the Baddest. When Frank Warner, my friends, said from 4 months ago, it's a game changer, it's mean it.
You know, he didn't sound excellent to me, he sounded dumb. Do you know what I mean? He sounded far from excellent to me, he sounded fucking dumb. So you know what, he's bowing down like Tony Bellew saying, yeah, thank you, Mr. Excellency. Thank you for having me. It's fucking pathetic, innit? You know what I mean? It's fucking pathetic. You know, grown men acting all unmanly like that. It's fucking pathetic, innit? You know, because he's got a bit of oil, so they're all bowing down to him, you know, and fucking selling out. It's tragic, innit? It's fucking tragic, man. You know, it's unmanly, innit? Mr. Excellency, he's not fucking excellent at all. You know, he can't even string a sentence together properly, can he? How the fuck is he excellent? The press conference was dead, wasn't it? So was that Tyson Fury Usyk press conference. That was a bit shit as well, wasn't it? You know, we've heard it all before from Tyson, haven't we? Oh, Dosser. Yeah, Dosser. Yeah, Dosser. Yeah, sausage. You're a sausage. Yeah, you're a sausage, you know. And he tried to have a go at Usyk's earrings. You know what I mean? You know, just trying to desperately come up with any kind of insult that he can think of, Tyson, you know, because he's exhausted his Dosser and sausage lines. You know, he's fucking squeezed the life out of those little insults, hasn't he, Tyson Fury? So now he's having a go at Usyk's earrings. You know, trying to come at it from another angle. So he's targeted his earrings, hasn't he, Tyson Fury? It's no good, is it? You know what I mean? Carl Froch had earrings, didn't he? You know, Carl Froch was a tough little fighter, wasn't he? You know, and he's got a nice, fancy wife, Rachel Cordingley Froch. So, you know, Tyson Fury trying to have a go at Usyk's earrings, saying he's a bit zesty, he's a bit unmanly, he's a bit this and that. It's just more stupid talk, innit, from Tyson Fury. He's just trying to desperately reach out and trying to come up with a different insult other than Dosser and sausage. So I kind of want Usyk to win, you know what I mean? I like Usyk, innit? I like him. I wish he could speak English though. I wish he was like fluent in English. I wish English was his first language, because you can tell that, you know, he's got a lot about him. You can tell he's an intriguing, interesting guy. You know, he's got a bit of humour as well on it. You know what I mean? You can tell there's some substance there. You know, he got interviewed by Boxing King Media, and Boxing King Media asked him about Eminem. You know what I mean? But, you know, because Usyk can't really speak English properly, he didn't really, you know, give a good sort of breakdown of what he thinks of Eminem. But, you know, Eminem, there's an interesting story there. He used to train with Emmanuel Stewart, you know, in the Kronk gym, you know, because they're both from Detroit, Michigan. So, you know, Eminem, I bet he's got a lot of interesting stories. I bet he was there. I bet he might have seen, like, Gerald McLennan, you know, sparring with James Toney, because, you know, Gerald McLennan is like 56 years old now. Eminem's 51 years old. So Eminem's only a few years younger than Gerald McLennan. So, you know, he might have seen the spars, you know what I mean? So I bet he's got some interesting stories to tell, you know, about his time in Emmanuel Stewart's Kronk gym back in the day. So I'd like to hear an interview, you know, with Eminem on one of these boxing channels. But, you know, I think Boxing King Media was trying to interview him or trying to record him or whatever. And I think his manager or his agent, you know, told him to stop filming him. You know, and I'm surprised he didn't fucking get his security to get the Skype wanker off him. You know, when he was all over Eminem. You know, like some little desperate groupie. You know, it's sad to see, wasn't it? But yeah, it would have been nice, wouldn't it, you know, to see Eminem, you know, having a little workout in the Kronk gym, you know, with Emmanuel Stewart, like on the pads, or, you know, doing a bit of sparring or a bit of bag work. You know, it would have been interesting, wouldn't it, you know, to see that. Does Tyson Fury still train with Emmanuel Stewart's nephew, Sugar Hill Stewart? I didn't see him at the press conference, so I don't know if he's still with him. You know, because I didn't see him at that press conference that I did with Usyk. Yeah, Sylvester Stallone was there, wasn't he? Yeah, have you seen Sylvester Stallone's daughters? They're quite nice, aren't they? Yeah, they're quite nice, you know. I don't know if he's tried it on with any of them. You know, I know it's a bit dodgy, innit, but it's got to be tempting on it. You know, having daughters who look like that. What's your favourite Rocky? It's got to be the, you know, the Dolph Lundgren Rocky, you know, with Ivan Drago. You know, who murdered his little mate, Apollo Creed. That was quite a good Rocky, wasn't it? But yeah, you know, Sylvester Stallone, yeah. He wrote Rocky. And like, you know, the film studio who made the film, they were trying to like say to him, we'll give you $250,000, yeah, to use your script, but we don't want you in the film. you know, because he wasn't really an established actor, you know, back in the 70s. So they like tried to bribe him in it, you know, to not be in the film, but to use his script so they could make it themselves, you know, put a big actor in the film, a big Hollywood established actor, you know. But Sylvester Stallone was like, nah, fuck that. I want to be in the film, yeah. It's my story, it's my script. And they kept trying to bribe him in it, but he kind of stuck to his guns, and eventually they said, all right, you can be in the film. And, you know, it kind of worked out for him. He said he got paid $35,000, you know, to be in the first Rocky. But, you know, because the film was a big success and generated millions, you know, at the box office, you know, his money stepped up, you know, throughout the different Rocky films. And his net worth now is about $400 million. You know, because he was in other films like Rambo and The Expendables. You know, he's a good actor in it, Sylvester Stallone, man. You know, he's got some nice daughters as well on it. So I don't know why he's hanging around with that Tyson Fury, you know, at his press conferences. You know, when you got daughters like that at home. That film was a classic, wasn't it? You remember that Tommy Morrison Rocky as well? That was quite a good film as well. That was quite a good storyline, wasn't it? You know, the one with Tommy Morrison in it. You know, when he like sold Rocky out and went to fucking sign with that little fake Don King. You know, Tommy Morrison's real life wife, she started messaging me on Facebook, you know, a few years ago, because I did a video, yeah, saying that Tommy Morrison's a cunt. You know, because he had HIV and he like conveniently avoided a blood test, you know, so he could fight. You know, and he got in there with this guy, you know, knowing full well that he had HIV, you know, and he kind of like risked his opponent's life, you know, because there's like blood in boxing, and, you know, there's like a transfer of blood, you know what I mean, and saliva and stuff like that. So Tommy Morrison conveniently avoided a drugs test so he could fight, you know, and get a payday. So I did a video dissing him, and, you know, his wife, she started messaging me on Facebook saying, oh, it's not true, he didn't really have HIV, it's a lie. Do you know what I mean? But he probably did, man, because he lived that party life, didn't he? He was taking drugs, you know, and he was partying and, you know, fucking around with all kinds of women, you know, having loads of sex with loads of different women. He lived that playboy lifestyle, didn't he, Tommy Morrison, you know, because he had a bit of fame from like Rocky. So he probably did have HIV, you know, and he went downhill, didn't he, and he fucking died. That's an interesting story as well. He had like fake tits put in. So he was a bit all over the place, that Tommy Morrison, you know, doing things like that. So he probably did have HIV. You know, and he got fucking battered, didn't he, by Ray Mercer. That was the biggest boxing beatdown I've ever seen. It's kind of karma, innit? You know, for putting another boxer's life on the line. You know, knowing that he had HIV, but he still got in there with him. So it's kind of karma, wasn't it? You know, when he got fucked up by Ray Mercer. But yeah, I'm going to wrap this shit up, you know. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, yeah? Thanks for that.